welcome back to Screen Preach for episode 37. My first night shoot ever. I never done it at night before. You know, the lighting is way better. I should do it at night every week. Okay, so what's going on? Obviously, you know what I'm going to get to. This week, big news, big drop. Disney Plus, WandaVision, 2-episode premiere. And now we get it every Friday. And we get a lot of Marvel for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years because it just doesn't stop now. The only thing is, will the films come out in theaters or will they go straight to Disney Plus? That is still a question we have. I don't think they're going to go to Disney Plus, but more likely they push it back. Again, for a 10th time. I mean, think about how many times the films were all pushed back. Yeah. Whatever. Last week was Tenet. That was good. This week, I told you I would do Wonder Woman 1984, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to talk about it in the name of the Godfather, the Son of Odin, and the Holy Jedi. I forgot to do the model last week. I'm back. I got it. Don't worry. We did it. I also forgot to do all the wrap-up stuff last week. Last week was a little bit crazy. Too much news. Too much going on. Yeah. And real quick, last week I mentioned how whoever scored Tenet did an amazing job replacing Hans Zimmer as Nolan's new go-to guy or whatever, and I can't believe that I didn't notice it was Ludwig Göransson, who is becoming quite a superstar in the film scoring world. He did The Mandalorian and he did Black Panther, just to name a couple. So no wonder Tenet's score was so good. Yeah. What is everyone watching besides WandaVision? Are you watching WandaVision? Because, you know, some people didn't like it. But you have to understand that it's a mystery, and it's going to take time to build. There's 9 episodes, so you got to be a little patient with it. Yeah. It was, I thought they were pretty good. They actually made me laugh. You know, they're paying homage to all these different sitcoms from, like, the 50s. It looks like next week they'll do, like, the 80s. And I think it's cool. It's a cool concept. And I laughed, too, like it was an old sitcom, like I Love Lucy or something. It was good. And clearly there's something going on. She's just not normal. Whatever happened to Wanda after Endgame, she's somewhere. I don't know I can't even tell you my opinion because I have no fucking idea what's going on. Besides that, though, what else did we watch? Rewatching The Mandalorian a little bit. Have reason to. It's nice. I'm going to rewatch the movies soon enough, too. What else? Anything? Movies? No. There will be quite a bit of movies coming out on streaming services and in theaters for all you people who have theaters open. In Los Angeles, we still do not. So like in New York, there's some things that came out worth maybe checking out, and they're in theaters. And maybe New York, if you're in New York, you can go see them. There's that one with Liam Neeson called The Marksman I want to see. I'll see it and talk about it. I do have a list, though. I got a good list of movies I'll talk about the next, month and a half, maybe. Yeah, that is where we're at there. Let's do the news of the week this week. It was a normal week. Nothing crazy. Actually, there was some more good casting news, Marvel news. So let's see what else. And just some, good drama news. I love good drama, good movies. David O. Russell is one of my, actually, low-key, he's underrated as a filmmaker. He's a great filmmaker, in my opinion. He's one of my favorite underrated filmmakers. And he's got a new movie coming out, and I've mentioned it before, but he just keeps adding people to that cast. It's crazy. There was a first look, too, at Adam McKay's new film with DiCaprio, and that is a stacked cast, too. Crazy. Tenet's John David Washington will be in David O. Russell's next film, too. So, yeah, here we go. What we got? Kevin Feige reveals the Deadpool 3 set in MCU and confirms the R rating. So we all knew it was coming. Deadpool is officially in the MCU. And he will have plenty of jokes to make about the merger between Disney and Fox, I'm sure. There was a cool fan poster of him with Baby Yoda. That could be like a joke that he does about Disney being part of that family, because Baby Yoda's part of that family. There will be some good, there will be some funny shit in that movie. And I was thinking about it. Someone said it, and I agree. If Deadpool's going to be rated R in the first rated R movie in the MCU, then they have to do Blade rated R. Blade has to be rated R too. Mahershala Ali's Blade has to be rated R, in my opinion, to really capture the tone of that one. Marvel Studios boss Kevin Feige addresses Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' return. Look, at this point, nothing is off the table. Anything is possible. With 3 Spider-Mans and Star-Lord and the Guardians showing up in Thor and Tim Roth's Abomination coming, literally nothing is impossible. So I think that the Netflix heroes could definitely show up. And the best place to do it is in the next Spider-Man with Daredevil. I think that would be great. Someone mentioned that. You could throw Jessica Jones or Daredevil in She-Hulk because they're lawyers just like Jennifer Walters is. So, same landscape. You will be able to find connections between theme and tone for those kind of TV shows and films. She-Hulk, the episode count was revealed by Feige. I think it's going to be like 7 or 8. He says that they all come out as at around 6 hours of story each, but are split up in different ways. So like you could have a 30-minute episode or an hour episode. Either way, it equals out to 6 hours per show. Like for instance, WandaVision, the first 2 episodes were 23 minutes long each, like a sitcom, which was also cool that the structure of it was like the. At the end of the day, though, they all end up being 6 hours total. And yeah. Thor: Love and Thunder cast multiple Marvel faves traveling to set. So more Guardians of the Galaxy looking to be in Thor: Love and Thunder because Dave Bautista was seen heading to the Thor: Love and Thunder set. So, I mean, yeah, obviously. If Star-Lord's in it, they all got to be in it, right? Or at least most of them. Morbius with Jared Leto was delayed officially. It'll come out this fall now instead. It was going to come out in the spring, but now it'll be coming out in the fall. They're trying to see when theaters are going to open. We still have no idea when they're going to open. Could be any time. HBO Max's The Batman TV series replaced Terrence Winter with Joe Barton as the new showrunner. A couple weeks back, I mentioned how Terrence Winter was released from duties as showrunner, and it looks like they found his replacement. Like I said, David O. Russell's film is just stacking up with cast. Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody, who played Freddie Mercury, he will be in the film. And Zoe Saldana will be in the film. I mean, Jesus, quite a stacked cast. And she seems to be in everything you can think of these days. Wait until the Avatar sequels come. Literally everything. What else? They added more people to the Moon Knight cast officially, and it looks like Ethan Hawke will play the villain of the series. The Sopranos prequel was pushed back. The Many Saints of Newark is now going to be in the fall of 2021. And anything that's Warner Brothers is coming out in theaters and on HBO Max. Don't forget that. You can watch it right at home. Whether or not you agree, I don't 100% agree. I want to see these things in movie theaters, but all in good time. Looks like Queen's Gambit writer will be adapting the sci-fi novel The Sparrow for FX. That is Frank Scott, I believe. He's a fantastic writer. He's done quite a lot of stuff. Go check out his filmography. Awesome stuff that he's done. Queen's Gambit is the latest. Chris Evans looks to be returned to the MCU as Captain America in some vague way. This is easy. Like, anything in the 5-year gap in Endgame can be potential groundwork for storytelling. So you can do like a Hulk show and how he became Professor Hulk. You could do Captain America show and how he returned all the stones to their respective timelines. You could do that, or he just shows up in some way from another reality, or he shows up old man again. Maybe there's a whole bunch of possibilities for that. It's not 100% confirmed, but it's like 90% confirmed. What else? David O. Russell film also adds Robert De Niro, Chris Rock, and Anya Taylor-Joy, and Michael Shannon. Holy shit. Stacked, like I said. Wow. Yeah. Mortal Kombat movie. First photos came out. First look. I will put them up for you right here, right now. Yeah, so take a look at that. That's supposed to come out this year. If you're a big fan of that game, I'm not like a huge fan of that game, but they are making another adaptation for it. It comes out this year. So there are the photos for that. Yeah, and it's good to see movement on Netflix's The Sandman series. Still reading the comics for that. I'm not quite 100% done yet, but they're making a Netflix series, and it looks like Gwendoline Christie from Star Wars and Game of Thrones has joined the cast. Just more hype around things coming out. Yeah, that is the news of the week this week. So let's talk about Wonder Woman 1984. We'll do our analysis this week, and it is Wonder Woman. I'm a little bit shocked at the people who are shitting on this movie. I get it. I understand. I understand if you didn't like it. I understand the pacing of it and the length of it. Maybe a little bit too draggy sometimes. I understand why people maybe didn't like it. Because at the end of the day, it didn't live up to the first one. That's plain and simple. When we come down to it, it did not live up to its predecessor. But I still enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I'll tell you why. I think the themes in this one, honestly, are even more impactful than in the first one sometimes. This idea about truth winning the day, the truth being bigger than all of us, is something we can all relate to. It takes as much as it gives. So this MacGuffin they have in the film, this artifact, it grants your wishes, but it also is a lie. The point of it is that it's a lie. The truth is the only thing that is absolute, basically. And people have to embrace that by the end of the film. I love the way that she's not the one who saves the day, but really it's everybody coming together. There's good themes overall. Did the structure of this work, though? Like I said, pacing problems sometimes. But when it comes to the big movies like this, I always allow for this big movie structure thing they do, which is like we have like a very long opening and reintroduced to Diana, other important characters. Still felt like the movie takes a little while to get going, but it's all with meaning. Like overall, the main themes of this one were very impactful. The opening with Diana as a kid was really good. We see another moment from her past. I didn't mind it. It was probably a little bit long, but the whole main theme of the movie is set up in that opening, so you need it. You really do need it. And it was cool. It was a fun sequence. I'm sure that they had fun shooting that. She looks like she's going to win, but then she tries to cheat. And that's what this MacGuffin, this artifact, is all about. It's about cheating. Cheating to get what you want. And at the end of the day, it's fake. It's false. It's not real. Every character has to renounce their wish by the end of the film. Because it's fake. It's not going to be fulfilling because it's a lie. It's like cheating. I like that theme. The idea of being honest and true, and that being what real heroes are made of, comes to the forefront. Granted, for me, this particular MacGuffin is a little bit weak, but it's all for the purpose of the main theme, so it works in the end. Yeah, I know. An artifact with the power to grant your wishes. It kind of is a little bit cheesy, but it connects directly to this idea of cheating, and that's why it works overall. We see the antagonistic characters using this plot device for personal gains, and in return they taint their souls. So the characters of Barbara and Lord, at least they're good villains, you know? At least they're good antagonists. We care about them almost just as much as Diana. They give you reason to. We understand them. We understand their struggles. We feel their desperation, and it's something we can relate to. So it ends up working. We want them to actually do the right thing in the end, and they do. They actually both do. They both renounce their wishes. So it's actually a good arc for all of our main characters, even Steve. You know, he comes back. I was a little bit shaky on the way he came back, but it still worked. He had to realize something. She had to realize something about love and about sacrificing love for, you know, your duty, basically, your responsibilities. And I thought that it worked overall in the end. Um, yeah, yeah. That'll always save superhero movies when the villains are when you can empathize with the villains. My problem with the MacGuffin was that it was too easy a way for Steve to come back. It's like, oh, I wish he would come back, and then he comes back in another body. At first you don't realize that we're not supposed to see the body he's in. We just see him as him, and it was a little confusing at first, but then you get it. Overall, structurally, it worked for the most part, but it did drag sometimes. It took long for certain plot points to happen. It also took long for Steve to return. I thought he would come back quicker in the movie. Yeah, it's a little bit draggy. We have a long expositional opening, but the inciting action is still clear. It's the introduction of this artifact. The true start of the movie is Steve's return and Lord's Wish. Lord's Wish changes everything, kind of sets the movie in motion, gets us going. Being this big movie structure, the plot points are really action sequences that break up the movie. So, for instance, the big car chase in Egypt, that acts as a midpoint or a reversal for the movie, with Max Lord taking over in a big way. The truth is that we get a reveal. The stone is a stone of lies. The wish is a trick, and it makes for good storytelling to have Diana have to choose between losing a part of herself, her powers, or losing Steve. The fact that this whole thing comes down to her like slowly losing her powers, and that's why she can't beat the bad guys, it's kind of, that's a little bit repetitive and tropey. We've seen that in superhero movies before, but it didn't totally diminish what they were trying to do, so it's still, you know, it's enjoyable. It kind of happens a little late that we get this reveal about her powers, and but they all happen at the midpoint, so it works as an unraveling. You know, there's a clear unraveling of events. Yeah. So she has to choose between losing her powers or losing Steve. That reveal is a plot point, but it's oddly placed, I thought. It wasn't quite at the middle of the movie. Then there's this like clear down and out for Diana. She initially loses Barbara, right? It's a true downfall. Her powers fading. Hope seems to be lost. And then we have this reaffirmation that comes in the form of a powerful choice to let Steve go. So she does. She chooses to help people over her own self wants, desires. That brings us into an action-packed showdown climax. And overall, it was a powerful ending because it's one of unity. Like I said, it brings everyone together. Only together, embracing the truth, can we all save the world. And it's kind of it's like that's what Patty Jenkins is saying in this movie about the world. If we all kind of just work together, you know, if we all just got along and tried to make things work, we would save the world. It's kind of like a bit, you know, again, there's a little cheesiness, but it's enjoyable. It's a feel-good movie. My overall opinion of the story, it's interesting enough, but it didn't live up to the first one. At the end of the day, it just didn't. I like seeing the superhero tropes and big action sequences. We actually get to see a couple of new powers from Diana, the invisibility, and then she actually finally flies in the movie for the first time. But then it's like, well, why couldn't she fly in the modern day movies that we've seen her in? Why is it in this one that we see her fly and then we never see her fly again? I guess continuity-wise, having a movie come out after a timeline and then before a timeline can be a little difficult. We kind of just have to go with it a little bit. maybe having a lot of time spent on these new characters actually hurt the story for Diana, because it's almost like we don't spend as much time with her in this one as we do in the first one. I wonder if it's because they do decide to spend a lot of time with Barbara and Lord, and so actual story time is sacrificed a little bit for Diana. But it's not like you can't enjoy it. It's enjoyable. Yeah. The only thing I'm having the most trouble with is that once again DC manages to make one of their films about the end of the world. Like, seriously, can there just be a movie with like a grounded conflict? The stakes don't have to always be, oh my god, it's the end of the world. In this case it was like the end of civilization, but that's kind of the same thing. It doesn't always have to be like the end. This all hope is lost. We need a superhero to save everybody on the planet. Marvel's gotten better with that, but DC still needs to figure that out a little bit. We need personal stakes, something a little more normal. Yeah. It gets a little repetitive. It still becomes about love and her love for Steve. There's it's basically this time she's the one who sacrifices. That's why it works, because she's the one who sacrifices him in this one. Whereas in the first one, he sacrificed her. He sacrificed his life for her and for everyone. In this one, she's the one doing it. So that's, overall, if it's a 2-film arc, it works that way. There's a parallel. There's a connection. And having her fly in this one is... She only flies when she decides to accept her fate and to let Steve go. She embraces her responsibility to protect the world, and then she flies. She becomes a true, independent, powerful person in this film. Yeah. It's a story about moving on, and that's why it resonates. Performances were, of course, always good. Gal Gadot, she's very good. Chris Pine, it makes me laugh. He's hilarious. Pedro Pascal was good. Kristen Wiig. And then even the direction, I have to mention Patty Jenkins. She did film some pretty epic fight sequences. Looked like some creative stuff going on there in production. At the end of the day, was it good? Yes. Was it great? No. Did it live up to the first one? Not quite, but it is enjoyable. So I give it a 7.9 out of 10. My rating. It's good. It's a good movie. Let's do our fun fact this week. Try to keep it all... I like to do... If I'm picking a movie to talk about, I'll keep the themes the same for every segment that we do. So in this case, the fun fact, I'll do like a DC film. Let's do a fun fact about Tim Burton's Batman. Did you know that in Batman 1989, starring Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, that it actually took 10 years to make? For years, nobody wanted to make the movie. It was turned down by every studio from Columbia Pictures to Universal, until finally Warner Brothers agreed to make it. The script was then written and rewritten for the next 9 or so years, and Tim Burton had to fight for certain creative control and creative decisions once he was hired as the director. Even casting Michael Keaton as the main titular hero took Tim Burton quite a lot of convincing. It wasn't even until after Beetlejuice became a hit that Tim Burton was officially hired as the director. That is just a fun fact about the Batman film that nobody saw becoming a hit, and then it ended up having 2 films instead. Quite popular. Yeah. How about our question of the week this week? Allow me to enjoy my wine. Would you like a little cheese with that wine? Let's just follow up on last week. We did Nolan, right? We did Nolan movies. And I mentioned what is the best Christopher Nolan movie. I picked The Dark Knight, but I couldn't really even pick The Dark Knight because of Inception. So what do you think the 2 best were? The Dark Knight was number 1, of course. Inception number 2. And then down the line from there, we had Memento, Interstellar, The Prestige, so on and so forth. It doesn't surprise me that those are the top 5. What did surprise me was that none of the other Batmans were in the top 5. I thought maybe at least Batman Begins might pop in there, but instead The Prestige. That is just a twisty turn film right there. All the surprises. The film itself is an illusion. I love that movie. It's about magic, but it's like about sacrificing for just how dedicated you have to be to being a great magician. The movie itself becomes an illusion. It fools you. It fools you at every turn. It doesn't surprise me. That would be number 5. Let's do this week. Who is the most kick-ass female superhero in your opinion? Talking about Wonder Woman, right? For me, Black Widow. She's always been just absolutely amazing. Just badass, kick-ass, and every other kind of ass. That came out a little wrong. Okay. Yeah, she kicks ass. She is the best superhero, female superhero in my opinion. Movie quote. Let's do the movie quote of the week this week. I kind of have there's a little hint for you. I've mentioned the character. Okay, so let's name this movie. Ready? Hold on, I'm trying to remember it. Here we go. You know, I keep telling everybody they should move on. Ah, fuck. I fucked it up. Fuck. Ah! Alright, hold on. Here we go. Go. I keep telling everyone they should move on. Grow. Some do. But not us. If I move on, who does this? Maybe it doesn't need to be done. I used to have nothing. And then I got this. This job. This family. And I was better because of it. And even though they're gone, I'm still trying to be better. I think we both need to get a life. You first. Name that movie. 2 characters talking. I know that can sometimes get confusing when you see me, saying the lines. It's actually 2 characters. So, name the movie. What is it? Don't forget the theme of the episode. That's your hint. That's always your hint. Yeah. That is it. That is episode 37. Obviously, always want to come back next week talking about anything new, anything I can find that's relatively new to talk about. I will. And like I said, I might start talking about TV seasons. I want to watch Queen's Gambit so that I can talk about it. I want to watch The Undoing. Is it The Undoing or The Kill? I think it's The Undoing. And talk about that. So we'll see what happens. I do have quite a list, so we will talk about some pretty interesting films in the weeks to come. But real quick this week, caught my attention. Just something I saw briefly. It looks like Star Wars has officially sold off. I don't actually know what they did, but they're not tied to EA anymore, basically. So they are allowed to be made by other gaming companies, and they partnered with Ubisoft they're going to be doing a new game with Ubisoft. And Ubisoft, if you know Ubisoft, they did Assassin's Creed, they did Watch Dogs, so that kind of style, open world Star Wars game, it should be incredible. If it's done right, it should be incredible. I can't wait to see what they do. But yeah, I saw that, and that is it. That is this week's episode. As always, I am your host, Ben Morganti. You can follow me at DeBenji personally, or you can follow the show at Screen Preach. Check out my website, benmorgantistory.com. You can subscribe to Screen Preach at YouTube, and you can listen to the show at Apple Podcasts if you prefer to listen. And yeah. If you really want to support the show, you can become a patron at Patreon. But that's it. Yep. Keep keep pushing on, everybody. This quarantine shit will end. It has to. But just keep it going. For me, watching stuff is very therapeutic. It helps. Reading stuff, working out, eating good, working, whatever. Just anything you can do in a day. It's gonna feel better than doing nothing. And that'll be what gets us through. Is if we try to keep things as normal as we can, right? I'll see you guys next week for episode 38. I'm not 100% sure what I will be talking about yet, but yeah. Peace, everybody. Have a good week.